Run, party, repeat. Welcome to the East Coast Adventures Dirt and Vert Podcast, where we talk all things running, racing, and training to help you get ready for your next big adventure.
Learn from our successes and our failures, and have fun at the same time. Join us right here every week with inspiring guests who share their captivating tales from the trails. And remember, nobody cares.
Run faster. All right, welcome back to the Dirt and Vert Podcast. I'm David.
And I'm Matt.
And I'm Mary.
Welcome back, Mary. It's been a little while.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me back.
So we've got some updates today. So we're going to talk about Matt's most recent race, Mary's most recent race, and the race that I have coming up. So you get a little mixture of everything today, from the good, the bad, and the unprepared going into Saturday. So here we go. But Matt, if you don't care, go ahead and tell us a little bit about your race. You just had a really good performance at Johnston Woods. You did the 12-hour, and what'd you hit, 60 miles?
60.9.
60.9.
Nice.
Not that we're rounding it.
Oh, yeah.
By any means.
Pretty much 61.
I'm sure that course was hand measured.
Oh, yeah. It was hand measured. About a course.
But yeah, it was also a course record.
It was.
Which I don't know what the previous course record was. Do you?
56. I beat it by one lap.
56.
It was our friend Kyle Williams.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Really?
And quickly, he showed up at the end as I was on mile 56, and he hollers at me, and he said he was coming down the hill. He said, "Hey." He said, "How's it going?" I said, "I'm about to break your record, dude." Like, that's the first thing that came out. I didn't think nothing else, and he started laughing, and we talked for a while, but it was good. It's good to see him.
That's good. Kyle's he's a good one.
Well, Matt, let's hear about it. Let's hear about race prep, race morning, what your plan was going into the race, and whether your plan worked or you had to switch gears. And also, did you puke and did you slap yourself? And I don't even want to know that till we get into the story, but my money is that you puked and slapped yourself, but we'll find out later.
How many times, though?
Oh, well, that definitely, then I definitely.
You answered the question.
Definitely.
How many times you think?
Goodness, I hope not more than once.
So this is my second year running the actual Johnston Woods. Last year I did the 6-hour and fell apart, miserable. Walked for like 3 hours. But this year it was I was a little more prepared for the 12 hours. And Kyle last year got the course record for 56. And I thought that I could beat that. And I was going to treat it like a last man standing. Do one lap every hour, but come in with 48 to 49 minutes. So if I did that enough, I gained laps. And that's exactly what happened. I kept that 49 to 52 minutes every lap. Gained my laps. Maintained those. Had one bad lap probably halfway through, and I think it was a caffeine problem. I need some more caffeine because on a daily basis, I am a high caffeine taker, but during the race, I don't. So
What's that strategy?
I usually just take it in the morning. I usually just wake up, take one energy drink, chug it down, and then I'm good.
Okay.
And then I don't take any for a while. But I think I got to figure that out. I got to take more caffeine early in the race, not late at night.
How long are the laps at Johnston Woods?
4.5.
Oh, so it's no longer 4.1?
No, he added section. We added the field. Come around, you change the incoming and outcoming.
That's cool.
Yeah, so now it's not an in and out. It's a loop at the finish. So if it is every time, it's actually not messing with the timing system. Yeah. But I had a plan for nutrition. I had Freak Shake, 1 bottle every lap. I didn't carry nothing with me because the last few races that I've carried stuff, I've either overdrank, underdrank, or didn't take my salt right. So this time is 1 bottle per lap and 3 salt tablets at the same time, plus like some kind of food, applesauce, oatmeal cream pies, or gels. And it worked.
Cool.
So what did you do, just chug it, or did you actually take a break?
I took like a 2-minute break every lap.
2 minute?
2 to 3 minute break every lap.
That's cool.
Yeah, so you would drink, take your salt. Did you eat anything?
Yep. I ate oatmeal cream pies. I ate applesauces. And then I had gels, precision gels, for like after 6 hours.
The best gels.
They
Do you
taste
like
like, yeah, they taste like,
Martin's?
no, Go-Gurts. Go-Gurt yogurt.
Wow. I don't think I've ever even
Yep, Go-Gurt
thought of
yogurt.
that.
It's like a yogurt. It's good.
I love their gels. They're one of my favorites.
Yeah,
So.
they do good.
Have you tried the caffeinated ones?
Nope, no
Those
caffeinated.
are the spirit lifter. They're just an instant mood change. So you should try those when you try caffeine. They're
Maybe I should take those things to work with me.
just saying.
Taking them to Arconic tomorrow.
Caffeine tablets for work for that. I do take caffeine tablets at work. But no,
I mean,
I'm not doing that.
So I will say,
100 milligrams of caffeine. You should try. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
no, you're good. I will say, they say you can, if you take a week off from caffeine, you'll reset your tolerance. Just it's 1 week, and they actually, some things I've read say that if you do it the week before the race, you can actually take like rhodiola rosea, if I'm saying it right, and it will actually combat the effects of the headache and everything while you remove the tolerance, and then you can actually take it as normal on race day and not have to take 1,000 milligrams to actually feel something.
Yeah, it's like they call it just a caffeine fast.
Oh, that's hard. I'm a caffeine addict during the week.
Yeah. That's awesome. Did you have any stomach problems? You felt good the whole time?
I had one lap when I came in, and I could feel that my heart rate wasn't getting up because I was watching that, trying to keep it pretty low, and for the most part I did. But I felt it at one part. I felt like, I think I'm going to throw up. So I walked, and it calmed it down. And then I came in, I popped the Coke. I had Cokes as well. And I knew I needed to get whatever was in there out because it bothered me that whole lap.
Here we go.
His stomach was literally filtering out the bad stuff.
It's like a sieve.
And so I take one sip of the Coke, and all I did was very minimum salt tablets. And that's it.
And
one time.
And you only threw up the salt tablets.
Nope, there's nothing else.
Just kidding.
Salt tablets was it. And I threw up one time, slapped myself, and that's the picture you guys got from Nick. Or Nick was taking photos. He didn't post those, but he was taking photos. And
he's got them, I'm sure.
But then after that, no more stomach issues, no more. I didn't throw up anymore. I didn't slap myself anymore.
Aren't you the guy that can like throw up? If you eat biscuits and gravy, you'll only throw up like
it was
the pieces of sausage.
It was this
chicken broth and mashed potatoes. And Matt's stomach is so magical that he kept the mashed potatoes and he only threw up. But I'm pretty sure Matt was hallucinating because Mike was also over there on the other side of him throwing up. And I just told everybody that you all were praying.
Man. Yeah, so I said I wanted mashed potatoes. I didn't know that there's going to be this chicken broth in it. And so I downed it, and instantly I'm like, oh, this ain't good. And so I think I made it one more lap, and it came back up there.
I mean, that's my absolute favorite in a long run is like really long run, especially backyards, like soupy mashed potatoes with chicken broth. Man, like where you can just drink them.
Oh, my gosh.
We made that in the tent.
I'll take runny mashed potatoes with no chicken broth. That'd be good.
I don't think I've ever had either of those in a race, actually.
You know,
I mean, I've had broth, but not mashed potatoes with.
Mashed potatoes are good.
Yeah. Now, I remember Becca and John when I was doing the backyard, and they were in Michigan with me. The whole night, John and Becca were making me soupy mashed potatoes, and he was putting like a whole tablespoon of butter in there or something like. And man, it was just like perfect. I ran for that whole night and the next day, and I kept drinking those, and it was. But that's when I really got hooked on soupy mashed potatoes, like runny.
I can do that. Just don't put the broth in it.
Oh, no, that's even better. Get sodium and all the good stuff.
Nope, I'll take salt tablets.
So, how far into the race were you when your stomach went sour?
It's probably 6 hours, somewhere on there.
You think you just overheated?
I don't know. I don't think I was overheating. My heart rate was staying down. It wasn't that hot that day. I just, I always throw up during a race. So, but I started walking and I calmed it down. But rest of the time, I mean, got the same lap pace and it never came back. So
how was the end of the race? Were you starting to feel pretty fatigued?
I had one lap towards the end that was a little slower, but then my last two laps, I knew I had the course record, so I didn't push them.
Wind.
I didn't push them. Nope, I went. I knew I had them. Took my time. The last one, I came in, and I mean, it was the last lap. I came in like 30 minutes before the 12 hours. So I came in, got me a Coke and pizza because I hadn't eaten any real food, and I walked.
The whole last lap?
I walked for a while eating the pizza and drinking the Coke, and then On that one, you go to that small loop on the other side. So you got a bathroom, you got a trash can over there. So when I walked around, I just threw it all away, and then I started run jogging. And
So what did recovery look like afterwards?
I went and ran. I went and ran Monday with Mike. I got done and went up there, drank me one of those Freak Shake recovery drinks. Brittany went and got McDonald's because I was starving. Then the next day, I just hung out at the house and did some little massaging with the massage gun. And then I went and ran Monday. Ran Monday, climbed Tuesday, Wednesday, back to normal.
Did you cut your miles back any, or did you just go as normal?
I'll cut them back. Then me and Brittany hiked Mount LeConte.
Yeah, by the way, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Mhm.
That was a good anniversary hike. So you'd never been to Mount LeConte?
Nope.
What'd you think? It's pretty cool, huh?
It's all right. Not bad. It's cold up there.
It is chilly.
It's like, I think after we left, the National Weather Service or whoever said it was like 37 degrees.
Did you get a view every time?
Nope.
I've done the client several
view.
times, and it's been socked in every time.
No, it was all fog or mist or whatever it was.
That's-
And then as we were coming down, it all cleared.
Mhm.
So we could like see little bits as we were coming down, but once we got up
Yeah.
there, no, it was
Yeah,
covered.
I think I've done it like 10 times, and I've never seen the view. It's always been fogged over or
Oh, it's-
snow. So,
I've done it a couple times in the summer, and I've always had a good view, but it's always been really, really hot in the middle of the day. So
No, it wasn't hot. It was cold. You got up there, and
great.
it was cold.
well, I mean, it sounds like you had a good race and
Yep.
good weekend. So
It was a good race.
this
Probably-
weekend you've got 3 sisters.
Yep.
6 hours.
Mhm.
And then the following weekend you got mid-state. So what are you going to do? I mean, you come off Johnston Woods, you
Mhm.
ran 60 miles,
Mhm.
and that was what, 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
And now you're going to run 6 hours this weekend, and then you're going to turn around and run a backyard, or last man standing. I shouldn't say backyard. Last man standing. What are you going to do to focus on your best performance? What are you doing as far as like your body's been through a lot? So
Well, I've cut my mileage back ever since Johnston Woods. That was my high mileage week. So I got 60 plus, whatever I got during the week. And then after that, it was basically climbing, getting ready for mid-state. So my miles have been down. And then this week, same thing. I think I climbed 2 days, Monday and Tuesday. Took the day off. Tomorrow I'll do like one more day of like maybe sauna. And then Saturday would just be, hopefully it's hot. So it's more heat training for mid-state because mid-state is always miserably hot. And then that'd be my last long run. So I'm going to push it, but I'm not going to go out there and try to break the course record of 42 miles. So
is it 42 for the 6
yeah, it's
hours?
42
who
That's
has
pretty
it?
good.
show.
Gotcha.
So I'm not going to try to do that, but it's going to be a good hard effort. And hopefully it's good heat training as well. And then the next week it'd be just recovery. I mean, like you said, I've put my body through a lot. So it'll be recovery the next week before mid-state.
What'd you do going into Johnston Woods? Like, what would you say a typical training week looked like going into it?
I think my biggest mileage was the group run we did on the
On the Johnston
Cherokee,
Woods, the Cherokee course.
on the
Got
John Muir Trail, 20 miles. And then the rest of it was just climbing and once or twice during the week, just do like a faster run. There's a lot of climbing because I know what's coming in June. It's mid-state.
Are you doing any strength training?
A little bit at work, just basic body weight stuff, push-ups, air squats, and some dumbbells.
You got dumbbells in your cubicle? Or your
Oh
little
yeah, I
station
got
there?
dumbbells at work. Yeah,
There you go.
20 pounds, but it works.
Hey, anything works. I got a kettlebell I drive around in the Mini Cooper.
He's been meaning to take it to work for a little while.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's just become my buddy now.
It's like a pet.
It's like Tom Hanks. It's better than a pineapple. I just drew a face on it and it rides in the car seat with me.
Weighs that Mini Cooper down though.
I bet it
I
does.
think about getting it a wig. I'm gonna name it Mary.
Oh,
There too.
Mary too. Hail Mary.
Well, I'm proud
Um,
of you. You did
thank you.
awesome.
It was
That's
good. It was a
great.
good day. Good race. It was.
You were happy with it?
I was very happy with it. I mean, that's exactly what I set out to do. And overall pace was supposed to be a 12. At the end of the race, it was a 12-minute pace.
That's awesome.
So-
That's great.
Well, and the kids finished with you too, right?
They did. So the last lap before that, I said I'm going out for my victory lap, and it was raining like misty. and it was muddy in some areas, and Addie wanted to go with me. And I said, I'll be back, whatever. And she starts crying. So I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, she wants to go so bad, but she had her Crocs on. She didn't have no running shoes. It's muddy. We're going to be out there. She's only ran, I think, 6 miles once. She's not ran 4 or something miles. And so I'm like, when I get closer, I'll call, and you can come down there and meet me in the woods. So that's what they did. They were sprinting down there. And so, I mean, it was awesome seeing that Addie actually wanted to go out there and do that with me. And then both of them got to actually finish with me.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
It makes for good memories for them and you.
Yeah.
That was a really good memory back in when I first done like Three Sisters 24 hour. Callie come out and ran like a lap or two with me in the middle of the day, and like I won't forget that. And those pictures were some of my favorite because she was like, I don't know, 8, 9. She was pretty young.
I think I've seen those pictures. Those were cute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was fun. That stuff they won't forget, and you won't either.
Yeah, so they were excited, and then they had big old smiles as we crossed the finish line. So it was good.
Well, awesome. Congratulations on the win,
thank
sir.
You, thank you.
And the course record.
Course record, yeah.
And Brittany ran.
How
was that, having both of you guys run a race together?
It's not it's not the first time. We did it last year at Johnston Woods, but it was good seeing her like out there because I finally lapped her, and then she made fun of me. She's like, "You laughing at me?" I'm like, "Yeah, come on." And I think she was at that part. It was a walking spot for her, and so then I slapped her on the butt, and she moved a little faster.
Sure,
but yeah, it's good. It's good seeing her out there. And then my father-in-law also ran, and
he podiumed, didn't he?
He podiumed.
Yeah.
He's been working really hard for that one ever since last year, where he was cramping late on the ground. So he wanted to come back this year and do good. And then it surprised him that he podiumed. I think he got a 50K. So
that's awesome. Would he do the 6 hour?
Yeah.
That's great.
So it was good for him. It was good for everybody. The whole family was out there.
That's fun. And also y'all did Firewater one year, kind of together, right?
Yeah, she ran the relay with David Cowell, but that was one of my worst years that Mary yelled at me for.
Oh, I have the pictures. I have the picture of the lollipop. Me and Stamen were standing there just taking pictures.
Yeah, that was the bad year. So me and Brittany almost finished together during that. We would have finished together if people weren't chasing me down. So I finished and I went back to wait on her. Then she got across. Yeah.
Well, so what's the goal for Mid-State? What's your PR there, and what are you trying to do this time?
PR there is, I think, 64 miles, 19 hours or whatever it is. So it's first goal is to beat that because last year was awful. It was like my first year doing it. Barely made it through, 9 hours or something. So the first goal is to get more than 64 miles. And then the second goal is 24 hours and then 100 miles. Because even if you do it 24 hours there, you don't get 100 miles. Mm-hmm. So you're wrecked by the time 24 hours even gets there. You're looking at 20,000 feet of climbing by that point.
Yeah, and 24 hours is only 70-ish miles. Is that right?
It ain't many. I did 19 to go 64. So
yeah, it'd be 72. Yeah. Basically 24 times 3, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's hard about that race. Yeah. It's just time. Lots of climbing.
When I finished,
what do you think went wrong last year?
I don't think I was heat trained. Really, because even at Nashville Marathon last year, the heat just destroyed me. Just destroyed me. And then out there, I think I was getting like dizzy climbing. But that also could have been a caffeine issue, because Brittany told me when I got done, she goes, "You should have took more caffeine." I'm like, we haven't been going. Usually I don't start till nighttime. And then so this year, that's when I tried it at Johnston Woods at the 6 hour mark, when I kind of felt like a little sluggish, and it kicked right back up. So that could have been it.
Yeah, I try to take caffeine. Usually, especially when Mary's crewing me, she'll always have me one like between 4 and 5 hours when I start. And I take one when I start. So it's one of those, like, if you're going to take it, you have to stay on.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try that. Try it this year.
Yeah. Well, it's worth a shot, especially since you take caffeine all the time. So a caffeine crash, that's just as bad as a sugar crash.
Yeah. So that's the plan. First goal 64, second goal 24, third goal 100.
What's the A goal?
The A goal's 100.
100.
That's what there's not many people.
So if you get to 100, you'll be happy.
I'll be happy, but I won't be done.
But I'm just saying, like, if you get to 100 and something goes wrong, you'll at least like that's your
yeah. Oh yeah. If I get to 100 and then I fall apart, I mean that's a big win, especially out there because not many people reach that. Not many people at all. I mean, with like 7 people maybe 1 year, 5 people 1 year. Last year, not very many people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you reach 100 though, you're conditioned.
Yeah, because that's basically what 30, 34, 35 hours probably to get 100 miles. I'm trying to think here, math. Oh, no, it'd be 33.
It's a long time.
Yeah, 33 hours would be 99 miles. So yeah.
It's a long time.
Yeah, it is.
It's a lot of caffeine and a lot of salt tablets.
Well, Mary, let's talk about you now. Let's talk about Cruel Jewel. So you were obviously trained up pretty well for that because I got to watch all of your training and all the miles you put in. So tell everyone about prep and race morning, race day, and then what went right and what went wrong.
So I don't race a lot. I think that's probably something that's very different between myself and the rest of these gentlemen. I don't race a lot. My body doesn't respond well to that. So I don't recover the best if I overdo it, and I just end up having a lot of really bad performances. I used to do that, and I just realized that I don't recover well. And so for me, I usually pick a couple, if not just one, really big race a year. And last year, speaking of mid-state, I did mid-state mile last year and loved it. It was awesome. And I'd kind of retired from ultra running. So I guess that was kind of random. And then when I did that race, I realized, I might still be able to do this stuff because I'm a really good climber. For the last several years before I decided to quit doing 100 milers, I was just doing faster 100 milers, like Yeti. And so I had kind of stepped away from doing like climby stuff, but I used to do big mountain races all the time and loved it. And so I just had kind of forgotten, that I could still do that. So anyway, we did mid-state and I loved it. Realized in that race some things. I've had brain cancer twice and I have some problems as a result of that. My vision is not great. My memory's terrible. My hearing's not great. So I have a lot of like fun surprises with just being me. And so it kind of pissed me off because in that race, I couldn't see in the dark very well. That I had looking back, I'm pretty sure I had a panic attack, a full blown panic attack when I was out there. Never really had that happen. So, I mean, I don't just like burst into tears, cry really much ever. And that happened and just kind of freaked out, but got through that. That race was pretty special for me because it lit this fire in me that made me want to do another 100 miler. And so I was like, I'm going to fix this vision thing. And I decided to start doing what's called vision therapy and sought out this place in Knoxville and did a whole lot of this peripheral vision training. Would go once a week, worked on that. And really the cool thing is that I seemed to fix that problem, really strengthened the muscles in my eyes to be able to fix my peripheral vision. And that surprisingly seemed to be great in Cruel Jewel. That was the cool thing. Some other things went wrong, but that was a really cool part for me, is that this problem that I discovered I had at mid-state, I worked really hard to fix it. And, and that's the thing that got me back out on, into racing. And so that was really cool. Why did I pick Cruel Jewel was because it just seemed like it fit hand in hand with a race like mid-state. So anyway, I chose a really, really hard climbing race just because it was almost the opposite of what I had been doing. So to lead in build for Cruel Jewel, I decided to run the hardest road marathon in the country going into that, because I thought that would be really fun to do as part of the training, the Blue Ridge Marathon in Roanoke. And I knew I needed something that was going to give me a little bit of speed work, just because if I don't have that in a training block, I just get really bored. And so at first, I think that was probably at first I thought that was kind of a silly decision, but I was like, why not? I'm going to add all this in there and just see what happens. And it ended up being pretty great because it got me really, really fit. I ended up racing Blue Ridge about a month to the day before Cruel Jewel. I had run it like almost a decade earlier and PR'd that course for me. Got a faster time, 10 years older, which was cool. The year I ran it, the previous time, I was 4th overall. And running it 10 years later, I was 4th female. So that was really cool because it just meant women are getting faster, which is awesome. And actually, I looked up the stat. This is kind of cool for you guys. The woman who won the marathon actually won the Georgia Death Race, I think. And so it's a great shout out to Blue Ridge Marathon. If you're a trail and ultra runner and you really want to do a cool marathon, I don't think a lot of people love road marathons, but if you do, it's kind of a trail runner's road marathon.
And they have a double marathon.
They do. You can start at like 3 a.m. and run it backwards and then come all the way through the finish line. And then when the gun goes off, when everybody else starts, you get to do it again. So it's like 52 miles or whatever. So yeah. And you get, the cool thing is, I mean, I saw all those people doing it when I was running the race. And so they were out there and it was really fun. But so yeah, that part of my training went great. I felt really good. I guess I should just say this too, full disclosure, as a coach, I try to always be pretty transparent. And what's the phrase? I think Chris Damon always says this about me, that I walk the walk. So I've been having a lot of like health issues over the last several months, and just like little things that I've been kind of trying to deal with as a cancer survivor. I have a lot of things that just are kind of always, I feel like there's always something wrong with me. And so I've been having some things pop up. I'm also really, really stressed in getting my PhD. I've had some family illness that I've kind of been responsible for handling. And so a lot of that stuff's been going on in this training cycle. So that was not ideal. And I know everyone has stuff. And so I just kind of put my head down and tried to train through it and, not think about it. But that was obviously happening in the background. And as a coach, I always tell my athletes, stress is stress. It doesn't matter if it's life stress or just physical stress. And so I think I've put a lot of that stuff, sort of pretended like that wasn't really causing me a problem. And I know to you probably were watching it all sort of happen. And I was just like, oh, it's fine. I'm going to do a run at 11 o'clock at night because it's when I have time to do it. And that probably wasn't ideal. So anyway, I roll into Cruel Jewel feeling pretty good. I will say the couple weeks leading into that, I had an athlete, Caleb McCoy. He's awesome, but he was running across America, which is super cool. And he finished and did this really cool, amazing thing. During like the 2 and 3 weeks leading up to that, I had the privilege of going and, we got to go and help him. That was awesome. But it also included some sleeping in my car all night, not getting a lot of sleep. And, you just roll that into all the other stress. This is not excuses. It's just telling you what was happening in the background going into this race. And so, I probably didn't do the best taking care of myself going into it. And so, but I wouldn't change it. I mean, it was all great. And roll into Cruel Jewel. We had a really fun group of people. We stayed in a house with Brian Vermillion and Sam, his wife, Sam Vermillion, and Amanda Friels and Corey Friels. And they both raced. So Amanda raced the 50 and Brian raced the 100-miler. And then Nick Morgan, the photographer Nick, our dear friend, and Lindsay Parks. And so really fun group of people. It was awesome. We had like a little mini vacation before it started. And then we got to race day. Race day started at noon. So that is a perk of Cruel Jewel, is it's a noon start.
And it was hot.
It was hot. I don't know that I don't know. And I don't mean, when I say this, it might sound like weird. Heat doesn't really affect me. I don't sweat. I guess I would say this. I don't sweat like you monsters. I don't know what goes on with you guys, but I just don't.
Me and Mary will be running side by side on the treadmill. Sweat is slinging off of my arms into the floor. And I'll look over at her, and we're 30 minutes in, and she's not even sweating. I'm soaked. And, we just laugh because, like, we're almost completely opposite there. She hardly ever sweats. And, I mean, I can look at a treadmill and I will start sweating.
Well, and outside, it's like totally, it's the same way outside too. I mean, so anyway, I think that's probably a benefit to me in hot races, like at Mid-State last year. That doesn't bother me. I've run, I ran Vermont and it was 107 degrees in the Vermont 100, and you just manage it, but I don't have a problem in heat. So that wasn't an issue for me. I will say when the gun went off at noon, I think a lot of people did feel the heat. I just know we've had some friends who also raced that race. Our dear friend, Brian Zickfus, he, the heat, I think, got to him quite a bit. Brian Vermillion, I think, had a little bit of a heat issue. There's some other folks, Gary Connor, our friend Gary Connor, he suffered in the heat quite a bit. And, that's a part of Jewel for sure. And so anyway, but I felt great. Early, took off, and Shannon, who you had on, the winner, the gun went off and she was gone.
Just fast.
And we were together. We talked a little bit in the very beginning, but I knew right away I was not going to stay with her because she didn't walk a step. And so I was like, well, that's not my deal. I'm going to let her go because it's a long race. And so she was gone. I made it, felt great. Got to the first aid station and dropped down. Actually, I don't exactly remember what the first aid station was. But anyway, I ended up seeing Brian Vermillion. He was right behind me. I turned around and he looked hot. And he would probably laugh at just the look on his face. He said, "I am hot." And I said, "You cool down." And then you hit this like road section. This is before I saw you guys, the first crew spot. And it's the only there's two road sections at the very, very beginning, and then this road section in the middle, and it's exposed. So you run down a road and then you hit this road section and it's exposed. And if you do not do well in heat, it's a punch in the face because you're along the river and everybody just wanted to jump in the river, but you can't. And so anyway, and then I get to the aid station to see you guys at the crew spot, and I felt great. I really felt awesome and felt strong. I didn't have any issues. Didn't feel like I was pushing very hard. I just felt, what do you think? I don't know.
No, you look great. And I'll say this, like the first aid station is that we could be at, the crew station, was mile 19. I don't remember what it was called. Please forgive me. I can barely remember what I eat for breakfast some days. So
Old Dial, that's what it was.
Old Dial, yes. Yeah. And I will say at the first aid station, people were already dropping.
19.
I'm pretty sure the second place female dropped at that aid station at that point.
Yeah, I think I was in like fifth there or something like that.
I think you were in fourth, and then when she dropped, it put you in third. And then I think
by the time I got to 24, I was in second.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Shannon had came through, and then when the second crew station that we could be at, which was mile 24, don't remember the name of that aid station either, but it'll come to me here shortly. That was the fun aid station where the guy was dressing up every 6 or 8 hours as, he was Cousin Eddie for a little while. But, when you came through there, Shannon looked good. You came through and you looked good. And I was actually talking to Shannon on Shannon's podcast about this too. It looked like a war zone at that aid station. The first aid station was okay, but people were already dropping, and some people were able to, I think they were willpowering it and pushing through. But I think the noon start, the heat, and pushing a little too fast at noon caught up to people by the time they hit close to a marathon, which is 24 miles on, it probably felt like a marathon at that point because of, that course. By the time that you had got there were already people that were coming in that had never left, and they didn't leave. And there was a lot that dropped right there. And what was so fun though, was these two ladies come out of the woods, Shannon comes through and Mary comes through, and they're just hopping on, skipping along and having fun. And neither one of them looked like they were having a bad day. And that was what I thought was really cool, was that you saw two females just absolutely cruising and in their element. And you see a lot of these guys that are just like falling apart. And I thought that was a testament to say, like, I've always heard this, and I truly believe it. Females pace themselves so much better than males. There is no ego. There's none of that. Like you just, you know what you want to try to do and you stick to it. And men aren't very good at that. But the more you watch females run, and I learned that the hard way too at Firewater. Like, the first female I really met at Firewater was Melinda. And Melinda's got one pace and she'll hold that pace. And like, Melinda would always pass me when I first started running at the end of the race. And I'm like, man, she can pace herself so well. But that was you two ladies. Like, you all paced yourself very well. And I knew Shannon was pushing. You could tell she was pushing because she didn't waste. You even going up the hill, going back out, she was running that. And, she was pushing.
So, that's like, I felt really, really great. And my goal is always just to get in and out of aid stations. And you guys did great with that. Like, I just don't waste any time there. And so thank you, because that was really helpful. And I left Old Dial, took off. I don't know. It's all kind of, again, my memory's not great, but, I know that I left Will Scott. So Will Scott, and then got to Skeena Gap, which used to be a crew spot. And this was the first year it was not a crew spot. And so I think that, because I wasn't going to see you again from 24 to mile 40 something, 46, I think. Anyway, so that's a long time, and which was fine. I mean, the aid stations are fine, but I think in my brain, as I was doing the route, because I'd paced this race before. And so in my brain, I kept thinking, oh, this is weird. Like, I do remember this. And I remember last year, this was an aid station, but it's not an aid station. So anyway, I was asking some people out there and they said, yeah, they'd removed it from a crew spot, or not an aid station. It was a crew spot. And so I thought, oh, well, anyway, it just was a weird thought I had. But when I got to Skeena, I handed them my little thank you cards. I write thank you cards to all the volunteers in every 100-miler I do. I know that seems really dumb, but
no, it doesn't. Not at all. I think it's really cool.
I just think when people give their, especially at a race like that, you're working an aid station for an entire weekend, because a lot of those aid stations are really remote. People come, they just camp, like they don't leave. And so they give their whole weekend to be there, and they make it really fun. And so anyway, I gave them my little card, and then I went over and handed my bottles to the volunteers. And this is kind of what is super sad is, in the past, I used to never do that. I would always just be like, I'm responsible for my own bottles. I don't really ever want to let anyone else fill them for me, but I've kind of gotten away from that. And so handed my bottles to the volunteers, and I don't drink Tailwind or anything else. I just drink water and take my electrolytes through salt tablets and gels and all the stuff. So anyway, they handed me my bottles back. I was talking to the lady, she's really, really sweet, who was running the aid station, and I just trotted on up the mountain and got about a mile in, took another drink, and realized that they had filled all my bottles. I had 3 bottles, had 2 in my vest and 1 in my shorts, and realized that they had filled them all 3 with Tailwind. And for me, Tailwind is the one thing that makes my stomach go real, real bad. In the past, it's been real bad. And so I thought, oh my God, this is terrible. And it was so hot. And I was like, well, I could not drink this, and that's going to go really bad. Or I can drink this and just, maybe it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I just kept thinking, oh, this will be fine. It'll be fine. I'm not going to have a problem. And about a mile after that, I could hear, when you can hear your stomach going like, I was like, okay, this is not good. And this just happened to be, if you're ever run Cruel Jewel, there's like this little no man's land between, Fish Gap and Fire Pit aid stations. And it's kind of like 36-ish to 41, something like that. And the mileage, Lord love them, it's never right. They'll say it's like 5 miles between aid stations. It's like 8 miles between aid stations. So it's a big, like you have a big gap between aid stations, which is fine. But, for me, I was desperately hoping to get to this aid station to dump my bottles out and get water. And it just kept going and going and going. And I was like, okay. And my stomach really went real bad. And so I had to go to the bathroom, and then I had to go again and had to go again, and started having a problem. And I was just like ready to get to Fish Gap and dump my water. Got there finally, dumped everything out, refilled, took off again, and the damage was done. Like it was already not good. I was already getting really dehydrated. I was trying to fix it. And like, that's the thing as a coach, if you have a problem, like every 100-miler, we have problems. And so you're just problem solving. And I just was trying everything under the sun to try to stop it. Tums, all the things. Nothing was really working. And so all I could do was just keep moving. And as I was just moving, it was just getting worse. And, you know, what I alluded to in the beginning was that I'd had some health problems over the last several months. And I've been having some GI problems. And so that started becoming very apparent that things were getting worse. I'll just fast forward to when I finally got to you guys there's basically a turnaround. You come down to this little area, and I think it's called Wolf River, I don't know, something. Anyway.
It was Wolf Creek.
And, you know, I see you, and it's basically the turnaround. So I got to about mile 50 and decided that I just needed to have a conversation with you guys, because at a certain point I needed to find out, like, I could go on, but at what point does it become like a health issue? I was having some pretty serious problems, and ultimately it's my call, but I also don't want to make a decision. And I'm not great at making decisions for myself when it comes to like what's safe for me. And so, I had to kind of lean on you a little bit and ask you what you thought and whether it was smart or safe. And I don't know. Full disclosure, I also had this thought in my brain that I had an athlete who was about to run the 50-miler the next day. And I didn't want to end up having something go wrong with me that caused drama for her race. I kind of thought, what if this doesn't go well and I end up like in the ER or something from some problems, and then I can't help her tomorrow, or my issues create drama and stress for her. And so I know that's probably not an ideal situation for me, for my race to be thinking about, but I was. And Brian had dropped. I didn't know that. I asked you that. And so that was kind of a hard thing as a coach. I was thinking like all this stuff was happening. And then ultimately I just made a decision that it wasn't the right thing for me to go on. And that was really hard. I don't love that. And I've thought about it a lot. And I thought, should I have just pushed on? But, what I came to the determination after the fact is that it just made me realize that all of the stuff, all the stress, all the health problems that I'd been having for weeks and weeks leading into that, I put all of it off because I just wanted to get through this race. I just kept telling David, I kept just saying, when I get through this race, I'll deal with all of it, but I don't have time until I get through this race. And when I get through this race, it'll be fine. And that was really silly because it all kind of came to a head in the middle of that race. And so, as a coach, like, I'm going to own that. I didn't do that. I didn't do it the right way, but, that's a big takeaway for me. In fact, I've had I just spoke about how I had some loved ones have health problems. My mother's been very sick this year. My aunt just passed away yesterday, and I've been helping take care of her. And so all that was coming to a head, and, it was just, we don't race in a bubble. Life happens around you, and you kind of have to figure out how to navigate all that. I was not navigating any of it in the best way. It was affecting my mental health. I was really kind of struggling with some depression, and I don't think I even realized how bad. And, it all kind of showed up on race day. And I think that is just a testament to like stepping back and asking yourself during the training cycle, is this the right thing for me? And would I do it different? Would I do it differently? Probably, but would I take it back? No. I loved that course. The thing I walked away from that course, I told him I'm going to go back next year because the course was awesome. I loved every bit of it. And I know that I can run that race really, really well and very competitively. And I don't say that usually very much. That's not my personality, but I loved that race and I want to go back and have a good day there. So Would I take it back? No, but there's a lot of things I would do differently, including listening to my body and probably listening to people around me a little bit more. But.
Well, and that's the thing is you'll never know what the right decision is in a case like that. And I will say, and you heard Mary say, I heard you say this in the beginning when you started, like walk the walk, talk the talk, walk the walk. And the question I asked Mary when she come bebopping down the hill, and here's the thing, like GI issues or not, she was still in second place. She was still running.
I got into that. I got to mile 50 around 11 hours, which is pretty. I was proud of that. You couldn't fix that problem. So.
Come down the hill, great, smiling. Before she would even talk to me, she said, hang on. She had to go take her thank you card to the aid station. Then she come back to talk to me to tell me everything that was going on, and even stopping and using the bathroom as much as she did, she was still in second place, still moving well. And we talked for a few minutes, and the question I asked her was, what would you tell your athlete?
Yeah, I know. That's what got me.
and I don't know if that was the right thing to say or not. Sometimes in a race, you want to like try to push the person to go back out, but there are circumstances where you don't do that. And I felt like this was that circumstance where, you stand back and think about your health. And who knows? You might have ran it and been fine. It might have went away in the next 10 miles. It may not have, and may have gotten worse. And it's just like when we had Kyle Kraft on here. He's sitting there questioning, he had 4 miles left, 3 miles left to run in DNF. And he's still sitting here questioning, could I have walked it out? And I'm like,
you didn't know where you were, dude. Where would you walk to?
There's not ever going to be a right answer. Yeah. It's kind of like, not signing up. Or not doing the thing that you wanted to do. Like you're always going to wonder what if, and that's the same circumstance in a race. Like you showed up, you did the hardest part, you showed up and you went out. Sometimes that's the most important thing, is to give yourself a chance, regardless of everything else that's going on. It's, try to show up and be there. And, you did that, and you had a lot of stuff thrown at you, and, you forgot a big one. You forgot a really big one. We went back out to Caleb the week before your race, and the transmission went out on a Land Cruiser. So not only that, but we all got stranded. Me, Jenny, Heather, Mary, Caleb outran the Land Cruiser. And so they kept running, and I took care of all that. But that was added stress, because the one thing that will absolutely crush Mary is to tell you that she's going to have to drive.
No, it's not driving. It's taking my car.
I know, but that's what I mean. Like you're going to have to drive us. And Mary's like, oh.
Let me just clear that up. The reason is my car is so dirty always because I live in my car. It just means that I'm going to have people see what the inside of the car looks like.
She looked like she was going to cry when I told her that, because she hadn't even thought about the Land Cruiser not being fixed. And she's like, that like makes me very anxious. So, there was a lot of stress that went in, but ultimately though, honestly, the one thing you can take away, your training was like on point. Like everything you had did, you were ready. Yeah. You were well prepared. Your nutrition was dialed in. Mm-hmm. I just hate that happened, but unfortunately, things happen in a race, and that's one of them. And it can happen to any of us.
The thing that, I did some training on the Cherokee course and loved it, and I had a 30-mile run out there, and it was funny. I came into him and I was like, I'm really tired, but there's a lot of like blowdowns that are really down on the trails right now. And, and when I got back, I was like, oh, I had like PRs on a ton of those segments. Like I really ran really well, but in hindsight, thinking about that, like I was really tired doing that. And so I just think there was so much, I'm getting my PhD right now, and that is kicking my butt. Like, I'll just be totally honest. It is killing me. When I got my master's degree, I felt like that was a breeze. Like, I almost felt like embarrassed. Like, I was like, is this a master's degree? Like, it just didn't even feel that hard. And this is so different for me. I think it's probably hard because I'm also running a business and, but I don't know. It's just been a lot of mental stress for me. And I think it's a big lesson for me that kind of lack of sleep and stress, like, I don't know. I probably just should have paid a lot more attention to that. But I just thought I was tough, and I've had some people, and God love them, everybody has good intentions, but people after that race sent me so many things about, you just need to be more mentally tough. I'm like, I'm pretty mentally tough,
I'm going to say you did survive brain cancer.
Twice. Yeah. So
trained the whole time you were doing it.
Yeah. So. I mean, I don't say that like I can't get more mentally tough. Yes, we all can, but it wasn't an issue of that. No. It was definitely, I think, an issue of like me just not paying enough attention to how exhausted I was the whole buildup. And then that happened, and that was just a freak day. But like, honestly, just looking back, like, I think, man, there were so many things I should have been paying attention to, and I just was blowing it off, thinking, I've got this. I'm tougher than that. I don't need sleep. Who needs sleep? Which is silly.
I don't know what that is.
Well, and you said it really good. And me and Corey just had this conversation the other day when we were talking because of all of his races, and he was talking about his training. And, stress is stress. Mm-hmm. So, regardless, like, you got your run training, you have your life stress, and then you have this other training stress too. Like if you're lifting or you're doing sauna, it's all stress in a bubble, and that's the thing you have to be able to manage. And for some of us, we can't manage it because it's just life happening. And there are seasons in your life where it's going to be really hard. And the only way you can control some of that stress is to take some of the other away. And it's hard to do that when you're trying to train for an event. So that stress just keeps adding. And then if you add more to your training program, whether you start jumping in a sauna, start jumping in a cold plunge, whatever, it's just more and more stress. And man, you had all kinds of stress. And like, regardless, that stress takes a toll on you and recovery and everything else. And then not getting to sleep, the recovery there, that piece, that's huge. If you're not getting 7-8 hours of sleep, it just slowly.
I don't even know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, even driving her to the race, people are messaging her, and I mean, she's, Mary's a fantastic coach. I'm glad she doesn't listen to me sometimes. So I'm like, just don't. But like, she's fixing people's programs that have like asked stuff on the way to the race. And I'm like, this is not ideal. Like, people are texting her like, hey, can you put a program in tomorrow? And I'm like, oh God, they're doing it right now, like an hour before the race. Like,
yeah, Mary, you got to turn that phone. Can't be doing that before the race.
And I felt bad for you.
During the race, but I don't answer them during the race. But it's, it is a thing. I create that, and that's fine. I love my athletes. They're my kids. You guys are my kids. So but yes, it is definitely a thing. I have a problem turning that off. I will say this really quickly. My athlete, Amanda, she crushed the 50 miler. She did awesome.
She did.
So, both Brian and I did not have great days at Cruel Jewel, but we went out with she and Corey and we had the best time. Like, she just handled that race like a boss, and I'm so proud of her. She did awesome. And, we made a little mountain runner out of her. That's definitely her thing. And she, I hope that someday she goes and runs the 100 miler. She doesn't want to do it next year, which I think is probably smart, but I think, she's really going to do something really cool in this sport. So I'm very proud of her.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, when you run Cruel Jewel 50, you get the belt that says Cruel Jewel.
It's a beautiful leather belt.
Very nice. Then when you finish the 100, you get the buckle to go with the belt.
And it's
kind of cool if you can do both.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. But anyway, so that was my race.
So we're definitely going back next year. I need to put it on the calendar.
Yeah, I want to go back for sure. The race director's awesome. I love, no offense, guys. I love what you guys do. You're awesome. But I love women race directors. I think it's fun. And Sarah, she's just a phenomenal human. She's really great, and she puts on a really good event. And so, I want to go back and support her for sure. But yeah, so
yeah, I think she did a really good job. It was a well ran race. The buckle is the size of this East Coast Adventure sign.
It's huge. It's heavy.
Really cool. And I mean, it's a good vibe, good setting, and it's a very old 100 miler for the East Coast.
48-hour cutoff too, guys.
I think I could walk that long, couldn't I?
30.
That's what Nick said. He said he could do it, and I was like, okay, maybe.
Yeah, I think we did the math. It's like a little over
30-minute mile.
2 miles an hour. Right.
I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
But now that's not stopping.
You don't get to stop.
Oh,
That's
so I got to run some.
Well, you said you want to do it next year.
I do want to do it.
I think that's awesome.
So
it'll be fun.
Well, I got a thing for the Benton Mackay Trail.
Yeah.
And the Benton Mackay Trail is on that course.
Yeah, it's a lot on the Benton Mackay. It's basically the Benton Mackay and the Duncan Ridge Trail, and that's what you're on most of the time. So.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's really cool. That, and then there's a little mountain bike loop right at the very beginning when you jump on to right off the road, and then you jump on the Benton Mackay. So it's really great. So
do you have anything else you want to run this year?
Well, right now I'm in what I'm calling my hot girl season. I don't know. This is a very unpopular thing to say, but running ultras is not the greatest thing for your body. And this is a very vain thing. I'm going to say this. And this is probably, I can't believe I'm going to say this on a podcast, but I don't know.
Yeah, we only have 3 listeners.
That's fine. Yeah. I don't know. And a lot of people can attest to this because I know I talk about it with a lot of my athletes and I coach a lot of people. You gain weight when you run ultras. You put on some pounds because you got to eat a lot just to be able to do it and not get hurt. And I don't know, sometimes you just feel gross at the end of a training cycle. You just feel kind of I don't know, I do. And I know a lot of my athletes do. And so I'm just taking kind of an off season, which I'm a firm believer in. I'm running a lot less. I'm walking, I'm lifting. I'm trying to focus a ton on lifting right now and just kind of letting everything reset. I do want to run. I'm going to run a 10K in August, which is kind of fun. So it's totally different and shorter, faster stuff, which will go really well with strength training. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to do anything long for a while.
Are you training for shorter distance now?
Yeah, for a 10K in August.
So if you're going to do Cruel Jewel next year, when will you start back that training? I
probably really won't start my training block for that until maybe January. Yeah. So, I'll probably start building my volume up in the fall just a little bit. I'm still going to run. That doesn't mean I don't run. I mean, that's the thing. I train all year round, but I don't want to start, really focusing on Cruel Jewel probably until January. So, yeah, I don't need to do that. It's just too much volume for me. And everybody's different. So, I mean, that's the thing. But I also know women are very different. We are very different than men. Our bodies respond very differently. I'm not a kid. I am 45 years old and I'll be 45 and, just throwing a bunch of miles at it doesn't work for a lot of us old ladies.
You're not old.
Masters. So, I don't know. For me, that's the thing I'm focused on right now. I want to get my body back.
Yeah, she has been lifting a lot here lately. I think you're enjoying that.
I am. And I'm also going to enjoy not eating a lot as much as I do. Because when I'm training, I eat so much food and it's like a job. And I mean, I love to eat, don't get me wrong, but I also sometimes it's just I don't want to have to eat this much food. And, it does, like I said, it does some different things to your body. It doesn't, I don't love the way I always look in the height of my training cycles, and it's okay. It's for performance. It's not about aesthetics, and that's okay. And I accept that, but when it's over, I'm kind of usually ready to get back to,
Yeah.
Jacked, Mary.
Yeah. Mary and I eat a lot of food. You see us at a restaurant, there is no meal splitting. It's full entree. We might be at lunch. We're getting the dinner serving. David usually gets dessert to take with him.
You get dessert a lot, actually. We're those people.
I can't do dessert.
I'll leave there and go get a milkshake. Come home. I carry all my food to the bedroom with me. Mary laughs at me. I'll lay in bed and eat. It's sad, but
Hey, you are not injured. Right.
That's true.
Yeah. Now you have a race coming up.
I do. Yeti 50 this weekend.
Yeah.
And looks like he's doing some pretty cool. Jason's doing some unique medals this year. So I think the 50 miler is a possum.
Ooh.
The 55, is it 55K or 50K?
55K.
55K is a Pepsi machine. And then there's the Pepsi cool. Challenge, which is also another Pepsi machine, but they're completely different looking medals. But he shared those. They're really cool. And a lot of that is for where he done the Heart of Appalachia series.
I think so.
So all 3 races, which is kind of cool. But it is definitely a modified course this year.
Well, Matt, I was going to say, do you know about the Pepsi machine? Have you heard the legend?
I have not.
So there is this old Pepsi machine somewhere in the middle of Abingdon and Damascus, and it's on private property, and it's just an old rundown Pepsi machine that Yeti ferries go out during the course and stock it with Fireball airplane bottles. And so it's actually, somebody posted in the Yeti group this week that there's and I saw it on the iFit treadmill one day. It's on Google Maps. Like it says Yeti Pepsi machine on the Google Maps. So it's pretty awesome. It's kind of legendary.
Yeah. And he's actually has a race called during the Yeti 50. It's the next day, I believe, but it's called the Pepsi Challenge. And you run from the Pepsi machine to the finish line, and it's like 26 miles on the normal course. I don't know what it's going to be this year since the top part's closed. I don't know if it still affects that, but yeah, it was kind of cool. I think it's 26 miles, right?
I don't know, actually. So I think it's a 25K, actually.
25K? Okay. Yeah, I think you are right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
either way, kind of cool. I've never stopped at the Pepsi machine though, man. I just
when you run too fast.
Yeah, I saved that for when I cross the finish line. You finish at the brewery, so you get to drink beer when you finish.
But this race is interesting because last year you basically focused all of your training on Yeti 100, and we had a very scary evacuation right before Yeti 100 from Hurricane Helene. I don't know how much you've talked about that, but I mean, literally, I think Jason made a decision right before the race to bump it by a day, which is pretty rare. The Yeti 100, we usually don't, in ultras, we don't really do that, but he bumped it because of wind during that time. I like to think that maybe me being hit in the head by a tree a few years before that during a hurricane sort of prompted his decision to bump it by a day. And so the race was going to be on a Friday, and he bumped it to Saturday. So Friday morning is when all hell broke loose in Hurricane Helene. And I mean, I still to this day sometimes have like nightmares about the thought of if he had not bumped that race, you would have been running down the mountain when the entire like top of rural Appalachia just washed down from the top into Damascus. And you probably, I mean, I can't even think about it because if you had been running, everybody would have just washed away. There's still all the trestles and the bridges are still out. I mean, it's hard to even describe what that looked like when we were trying to leave, but I've never seen the power of water like that. And so I'm just so grateful that he adjusted the race dates, or you might have died in that race. So anyway, that, did some major damage to the course. And so what you're about to run this weekend is a modified version of the Yeti 50, because from Damascus up doesn't exist as far as the Creeper Trail goes. The towns are coming, I mean, the houses are coming back, but there's still some roads that aren't even there.
Yeah, and to the point of the flooding, like Mary and I had went to get breakfast that morning, and when we went back to town, they were evacuating the town.
And we didn't go to sit down. We went to Hardee's. So it wasn't like...
So it was that quick. There was no water. And by the time we made it back to town, they had closed the roads down. They were evacuating. Barely got in to get to the Airbnb where we were staying above the ice cream shop. And we ran up there, got our stuff, and started throwing it in the car. By the time that we got the car loaded, the water was up to the wheels. They had already closed, and then they were closing the front road off, trying to get cars out of there. And the cars sitting in the front of the ice cream shop, it was already up to their bumpers, and it was washing the road cones away they had put out. So you couldn't even see the road or the sidewalk. It was already up to the store. We ran out, pulled out, and made our way around, and they had some roads cut off, so we had to take some different routes. But we made it out of there. But it was interesting to see the power of water, and just trying to get out of there. So it was scary for sure for a lot of people. And I think several had to be evacuated by helicopter that didn't get out in time. They were loading the boats up when we got in the car. They were literally putting the boats out on the road when we were pulling out, like just, you didn't have to go anywhere. They were literally getting the boats out and setting them out on the ground and getting ready to take off. So it was just crazy to see. But with that being said, normally you would start this race at White Top, which is at the very top of the mountain. This year it's a modified course, so we're starting in Abingdon, and we're going to run up to the Creeper Cottages, then do an out and back to the Creeper Cottages, and then run back to finish at the brewery. So there is not a lot of downhill, which is, what this race is known for, is like the first half you get to run downhill, and then from there you're not running downhill by no means. So it will actually be
challenging,
a little bit more challenging this year, but also probably help a lot of people with pacing themselves better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've never seen people blow up like I see people blow up in the middle of a Yeti race.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting for me this year too. My focus last year was Yeti 100. I've not really had a focus this year.
Rehabbing from a really messed up ankle.
Pinhody.
Yeah, Pinhody left its mark on me. But I think it'd be fun this weekend. We've got we're going to leave tomorrow night and head up, and then the race starts Saturday morning, and we'll take off. And I think last year I ran it in like 6.5 hours. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens this year. I will say, doing Pistol 100, Troublesome Hollow, those two, had decent performances, but my fitness was not quite there yet from the ankle. And, after Troublesome Hollow, Mary asked me, she's like, what do you think we need to focus on? And I do appreciate you asking me that, because, it's, and I just looked at her and I said, endurance. The endurance isn't. Mm-hmm. And
we just hadn't had the time to build your volumes.
So she made some adjustments to my training plan, and, the last few weeks has been on point. My HRV is finally going in the right direction. My heart rate's dropped down into the 40s. And so there is something to be said about making sure when you're training that you got to build all your engines, and make sure you're paying attention to that. And Mary's really good at her training for that. And, that's one of the things that I had never got to experience till she was my coach, was working on all of those different engines, like aerobic, mm-hmm. anaerobic, and working on speed runs and stuff, and VO2 max, other things. So it's been really fun to see and learn now that I actually understand what you're doing. And that helped me too, with being able to, say, yeah, I definitely need to work on, endurance. And that's what we did. And now I feel like I'm ready to race. So I think it'll be fun. Now, the other piece though, is I'm like Matt, not our best decisions to do what we do. So I normally try not to do this anymore, because I did go into rhabdo,
I love it.
years ago, by racing too much. And, I try to take some time off. So I'll really focus on recovery. Probably won't do a lot of training that week, other than just slowly, trying to get some yoga and get some movement back and focus on it.
Did you say what you're doing? You're doing mid-state? I don't think you said it yet.
Yeah. Mid-state. I was leading up to it, but mid-state. I know Becca just texted me today, and she's like, I can't believe you're doing Yeti 50 and mid-state. And I was like, well, it wasn't planned that way. Jason Green, with his great marketing, got me with that all three races. But it's all good. I'll, I don't do it often, so I'll definitely take a break after mid-state and focus on recovery. But again, that's the thing. It's like, I've been running.
No, you won't.
I've been running most of the days, and, for people that do know me or see my Strava, I run every day at lunch. That's the only time I can really run, with a teenage daughter and everything else that's going on. So, I try to be at her games and matches, and me and Mary try to at least have date night, on occasion, but, I run every day at lunch, so I get some heat training that mm-hmm. way. But, we had talked last week or the week before, I was actually going to sit in the sauna some, and we just decided that wasn't the right decision, because I don't need the added stress. I need to focus on recovery, especially with doing back-to-back races. So there is no sauna. We've just been focused on running during the hottest part of the day. We'll have to see how this weekend goes and how hard I race to see how mid-state goes. I'm only going to have a week to recover, and I'm running 50 miles. So we'll see how that all plays out. But it's been a long time since I've been at mid-state. I did the first 2 years and then retired. I burnt myself out on backyard ultras, and last man standing events, and I'm hoping I find a new joy for it at mid-state. That's one of the funner ones I've done, that one in Elsie. So I'm hoping that I find that passion back, because my favorite backyard is the Golden Ticket next year, and I haven't decided if I even want to do that, but it has crossed my mind. So Ode to Laz got the golden ticket next year. Or it's not golden ticket. What is it called? Silver coin, silver ticket.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah. Golden ticket. I'm talking about Western States over here.
Basically a golden ticket.
I think at some point you should try to qualify for Boston this year.
Ready, Nick? Where's that big Nick energy?
Taking pictures.
I gotta be honest, Mid-State was so much fun.
It is fun.
I had so much fun. And I wasn't really sure what to expect. I love Becca and John. They're great. But I just wasn't, I'd never done a backyard, period. So, that was just such a fun race.
It's a good atmosphere.
Man, it was awesome. I loved it.
It's like, since I think I've done it like this my 5th year, it's like a family reunion of people that I normally don't get to see.
Yeah.
Because they'll come from Michigan and, Georgia, Florida, out west with Eric coming out from Montana.
I still remember when we broke Matt in at Mid-State.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one.
Of course, it got all documented, so that was pretty awesome, too.
You can see me on the YouTubes.
The trailer.
Yeah, I'm in the trailer. It's pretty good.
Well, you've gotten way better at it now, though. You fell in love with it. Yeah. You know what's fun, too, is we're going to have Becca and John on the podcast soon. So we'll get them to talk about how they came up with this race, and how they were able to put on the race, which is kind of cool. Me and Mike stumbled up on this race by accident and met Becca and John and just started messaging them, and they were really awesome. It was actually COVID when they started this race. Yep. So I'll let them explain that a little bit more on the podcast, but they were able to do the race because it was a wedding, and this was the celebration. The couple actually, it was part of the celebration to be able to put the race on. So that's kind of cool. And, look at they built something that's very special and amazing and brings a lot of fun people around. It's really cool. Now, I will say, when I ran it, there were no horse flies, and now there are horse flies. And
no, there was horse flies that second year.
That's rough. For some reason, they like me.
That second year was awful.
Nothing touches Mary.
I'm so I must have some
I'd be sweet.
Because I bet it's because she doesn't sweat.
That might be it.
At Vermont 100, everybody complains about them because the horses run with you. They actually run with you, and so it's a horse race and a foot race. And I never saw that. They never bothered me. Every race I've ever been at that people complain about horseflies, I don't think have them at all.
You think it's because when me and Matt sweat so much, we smell like horse?
It could be it. The next year, after your second year, my third year, or my second year, the third year, I didn't take my shirt off because of it.
Man, I'm not allergic to poison ivy.
You're lucky.
Sweat. Horseflies don't like me. I'm a trail runner dream.
Yeah, poison ivy, horseflies, sweat to death.
I can't run more than 2 miles without falling on a trail. I get bit by every mosquito. I get bit by every horsefly. I've ran into trees. I ran into a tree head on at Blood Rock. Head on, ripped my shirt.
You didn't know where you were.
Yeah, I was lost. So. I'm not the most graceful runner. I'm a trail running nightmare, but I make it work.
He falls a lot.
Well, I was going to say, that was a big win for me at Cruel Jewel. I usually, I end up bloody from most trail races, and I didn't fall once. I was so proud of myself. So, you'll take your wins.
I didn't fall once at Pistol.
Oh, wow. David Kyle would have. Something with David's.
Maybe.
David's fall.
It could be.
Yeah, something with David's.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we don't really have any listener questions, but is there any questions you want to ask each other?
Mary, did you wear a pack for the Cruel Jewel?
I did.
I never see you wear a pack.
I don't normally wear packs. I usually carry bottles, but I wore the Ultra Spire. I don't even know what the name of it is, but
it's a cool pack though.
Yeah, it's I really like it. It's got bottles, one bottle on the back and then one on your back, over on the low back.
Okay.
So, and I like that better. I don't like bottles in the front, and I used to run in this old Orange Mud vest that had the bottles on the back, and I just like that better. If I have bottles in the front, I feel like by the end of the race I'm like this, I'm all hunched over, and so I don't like that. So anyway, it's got one on the very back and then one right here in the small of your back, and I really like it a lot. And then I carried one flask in my pocket in my shorts. This is the first time for me I wore compression.
They're pretty sweet, ain't they?
I don't know.
Pretty awesome.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Which one'd you get?
They're by Oiselle. They're called Paquito because they have a ton of pockets in them, and they're longer because I'm an old lady and I want to do booty shorts.
Mine are longer too. Mine are, right above the knee.
I
So
was trying to look and see what the name of your pack was, but I can't.
they are a little bit longer, and so I put a flask in there, and that was pretty nice. So yeah.
Good.
Mhm.
I've never saw you wear a pack.
Yeah, I guess that's probably true.
I haven't. When I saw the pictures that David posted, I go, Ray's got a pack? You never saw her have a pack.
Truthfully, I don't think you could get through Killjoy without it. You just have to have water. It's just hot as balls. So,
but I figured you'd be like David, have all your little
Oh,
waist
and
pack,
Yeti.
your little naked waist packs.
in Yeti 100, I wore a waist pack.
Mhm.
I didn't think that could fit enough stuff in there. So I love that pack, the Ultra Spire pack.
Ken Z-Mac, he took 2 of them naked ones and did Vol State with it.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
You could probably make that work. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not quite decided what I'm going to do Saturday. Whether I think I might wear the waist pack, but I think last year Yeti, I just ran with 2 handhelds. Penn Hody last year, I ran with 2 handhelds.
Might be the reason you fell.
I don't know. Maybe.
No, I think that the start at Penn Hody is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. I did fall at mile 1, so.
Yeah.
The gun goes off for anybody who does that race. The gun goes off and people look around and don't know which direction you're going. It's like, it's just this crazy kind of cluster, and everybody frantically takes off, and then you just are like trying to get, when you're trying to get out of a conga line, you want to beat the conga.
You want to be out, yeah.
But imagine not knowing which direction the conga line's going to go in the dark. You know what I'm saying? It's like you just see, and so I just think that was really hard.
Yeah. Well, it got me. It got me good.
I will not be wearing a pack Saturday for mine. My 2-mile loops, there is no pack.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah. I carried a bottle at Midstate last year, though, and I'm glad I did.
I'm not a carry bottle. I think this year, if it's hot, I'm going to carry in my waist pack.
Yeah.
I'm going to have just a water just to cool down, but not to drink.
Yeah, I carry a bottle during the day. I don't carry a bottle during the night.
Yeah. I think it helped keep me from getting a boat.
Well, and we dumped ice on you a lot.
Yeah. That's true.
Brittany keeps telling me, you're not going to embarrass me this year, are you? She's nonstop. She has lit me up this week.
Brittany, I love it.
I agree with her. I said, I can't argue with you. Like, there's no arguing with her comment. It is the truth. The 2 times that she's went, I have failed miserably.
It doesn't matter how hard you train. Some days shit does not work. It just doesn't.
It's true.
And you know that if you train, because every now and then you have this long run that is just awful.
Yep.
And I hope that I have that run a week or 2 before my race. Yep. I really do, because I feel like sometimes when I have it, I'm like, it's out of my mind, and I'm like, all right, it's going to be good. Yep. When I don't have that, I'm like, oh shit.
Well, you live high life. You get out there and race, and you're like, well, today's my bad run day.
Yeah.
Yep. This is it.
I always hope that I have it a week or 2 before the race. If I have a really bad run, I know that, like, okay, that's done. Like, it's out of my head.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had plenty of those.
But you have them, and it's going to happen. And unfortunately, it can happen on race day. And we've all been there.
You sure can.
Yeah. I think at some point we should have a couples episode and have Brittany on here now, too.
I think we should.
Yeah,
she should do that soon.
And just talk about what it's like to train and race.
It's like to tell somebody don't suck at a race.
But just navigate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
no, she's excited to go back this year.
Yeah.
This will be her 3rd time going back to Midstate.
That's good.
And both times that she's went up, I didn't bad. That's why she tells me don't suck.
Yeah, it'd be.
No, she's excited.
Have fun.
Yeah. It's a good race. It's fun.
Absolutely. If you have a bad day, go join John Cox and be an announcer.
I'm going there and commentate with Forrest.
If I have a bad race, that's where I'm going.
Oh well, we already know that.
That I'm having a bad race. I'm like, okay.
He's calling that out.
Oh, that you're gonna go talk, because that's what you do. You're a talker. You're definitely gonna go talk.
I don't know. I'm pretty.
It's just all ruined to the next day.
Introvert. What y'all were talking about?
No, the mayor. You're the mayor.
My dear.
Oh, guys, anything else?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. No.
All right. Well, for everybody that's running Mid-State, we will see you next weekend. For anybody that's running Yeti or Three Sisters,
A lot of Three
some
Sisters.
of us will see you this weekend. So
I think half the team's at Three Sisters this weekend.
well, that's awesome.
It'll be good.
And I'm still trying to edit Kyle Kraft's podcast, so I'll have that one released in the morning, hopefully, and then I'll release this one on Friday, maybe. But we'll see. Might save it for early next week. Depends on how the rest of Arconic goes this week.
Life.
It's a good week.
Life.
All right, guys. Well, thank you all so much for listening. Everybody have a great day. Thank you, Mary, for joining us again.
Yeah, of course.
Need to do this more often, and we definitely need to have a couples therapy session.
Yeah, we can have one.
I want to hear Brittany call Matt out.
She will. She's done it all day today.
We'll do it after midday.
Yeah. So hopefully I just do it.
All right. Thank you all for listening.